see something, say something. It ain't working because we do report these things, but nothing is going to be done until a life is taken. We'll be talking about this, of course, more coming up on the show. We've also got Father Val Rodriguez, the Catholic School Superintendent, on the way, as well as Dr. Hoa Wen, our former chair of the Physicians Advisory Group. Right now, though, it's 7:10. Let's bring in the State Historic Preservation Officer, Patrick Lujan, to the link. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're all right. How are you? It's been a while.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for releasing that video of Malia Ramirez doing the chant over recently discovered remains. Can you give us some context with that, Pat?
Sure. So this is within a same small footprint with previous remains that burial that was discovered in 2019. So they were actually grading that around that area to start the building of the memorial. And they came up with some more remains, so that it just expanded and kind of solidified how this area has been, just the historical context was just expanded on.
So total, how many burials were uncovered there?
The recent ones we're looking at 7. With the addition to the previous 12. And then, so in separate areas, I mean, there's so many numbers that are being floated, but within a perimeter of maybe 100 meters, because there's 2 different areas, we're looking at around 26.
How was it determined that 11,000 square meters for the preservation in place is enough? I mean, how do we not know that there could be more outside of that perimeter?
Well, it's 1,100, not 11,000. So it's really, really small. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's a really, really small footprint. Yeah, and if you look at the grand scheme of Camp Blas, this is a very tiny piece compared to the overall base. So, the probabilities of others being there, you can make a pretty positive, theory that was the case. But right now, because of how it's so advanced in the buildup of the base itself, there's pretty much no turning back in regards to finding further. So what we're trying to do is what little is there that has been found, we're trying to preserve that to the best of our ability, respect it, honor it, and remember it. So that's where we're at right now.
26 burials, Pat. I mean, I know there's people out there who would say that enough's enough.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think they are actually close to finishing off whatever Earth Movement project that they're doing, and they're starting to go vertical in building the buildings. So this is pretty much one of the last pieces with any remnants of ancient Chamorro, through the burials. So that's why we're really on top of it and making sure that this last piece is preserved and honored.
Can you just kind of, because I know it's been a while, can you just describe the process from maybe start to finish, from when they're up there bulldozing or whatever, and they come across some burials or remains? What happens after that?
Sure. So the SOP really is, you have archaeological monitors that follow, whether it's, the bulldozers or whatever that's clearing. And so these are trained monitors that can identify any type of cultural resources. Once something is identified, then they stop whatever more clearing until it's a more focused and research into that area, and then it goes through positive whenever they go what it's called shovel test pits. And so if they have some positive finds, then they even shrink the research into a smaller area until it comes into negative finds. So there is an SOP that goes through it from an archaeological standpoint. And in this sense, the way these burials were found was exactly following that SOP, finding one small cultural deposit, and then come to find out underneath there was burials. So those have been followed through.
So when you say preserve in place, what exactly does that mean?
So this one, preservation in place, is basically we're not going to remove the remains, right? So in other areas, whether it was a pottery shard or a sling stone or whatnot, those are data collected and researched. But when it comes to burials, we staunchly take a position to leave them alone. And so in this instance, I believe the original plan to build was a parking lot for one of the nearby buildings, and we suggested to them that move your parking lot and rearrange your plans to give these burials the respect that they deserve.
And were you successful in that effort?
Yes, we have been. Yes.
I was going to ask, what kind of monument is being constructed?
So basically, they're looking at just like a grassy area. So there's not going to be anything built on top of this area, and then there will be a depiction, or with describing what was found and how many people, and adding a cultural narrative on the sign, depicting what was there and what was the ancient Chamorro village, Sabata and Fadang, and as much information historically as we can put on that.
There's a site in Fena, but it's very difficult to access. And I think since before the pandemic, I don't think you can access if you're just a regular local. So what types of access would we have, if any, upon the completion of this memorial's construction?
Yeah, I'm not sure the details on that yet, but I'm sure they will have a public access program and a plan put in place for the public to come in and visit. And it's a good point, Chris, that you're talking about Fena, because I'm actually in the middle of developing a program with the Navy in partnership with the National Park Service, the local National Park Service on Guam, to have a better visitation to at least one really beautiful latte set on Naval Magazine. And so I've got that in writing from the Admiral Nicholson, and he's in support of it. We haven't brought that up in public. This is actually the first time I'm going to be discussing it, because we're in the early stages, but it's going to be a really, really neat collaboration, very similar to like how the National Park Service works with the Navy over at Pearl Harbor and the USS Missouri. So in this case, we're putting the collective minds, the expertise of the National Park Service, the expertise of the Shippo's office, and working with the Navy to have a really neat and a better, easily accessible public access program for Naval Magazine and Fena, and in particular one real beautiful latte set that our Chamorro people can visit.
Wow, that's great, because I know that due to the sensitivity of whatever's stored over there at Naval Mag, it's been, because what I saw, Pat, was there was a channel, what's that channel that plays all the ads? It's some channel, but they used to have one before the pandemic. It would be call this number to arrange a tour of the Fena Latte site, right? And I did call it one time, and that's how I found out that they weren't doing the tours. But just going back to these recent burials, when you talk about they do the data collection, right, and the research and the studying, what type and how long is the duration of that review, that archaeological review?
So the studies, it ranges anywhere between 6 to 8 months. That's pretty much the average of the time frame from findings to complete reporting. Like I said, working with us, the basic information with the burials is potential, and working with an osteologist, the gender, probably the potential age of the individual, and then what has been buried, you can pretty much make a educated guess as to the era of whether it's Laddie, pre-Laddie time. So these are, looking at about 1,000 years old, 500 to 1,000 years old, since they were buried there.
Wow. So you're confident that we're getting enough information out of these discoveries?
At least from where I'm sitting at, we're getting the information that is needed. And like bringing Malia with us out there to the field, adding that cultural perspective, the knowledge that she has, adds historic value to what's going on. And it's not specifically just an archaeological report, which is very important, but, also bringing that human feel to it, where actually, there was life in that area and how they lived in that area, where it's, will never be the same again. So we're working all of that stuff to make sure the story is told.
I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to Fenna. What sort of access are we talking about?
So the program that we're working with is something that's a lot clearer than the current program that they have now. I myself tried to log in and link in and as a regular citizen, and it's so hard, And so having it a lot clearer. And I always give the example of visiting the White House, right? Where a second grader can log on and apply to go visit the White House. It's that easy, right? In simplistic form. So we're going to be doing that. And then also, lining out how the path and the walkway and all of that stuff, because right now it's still in original form. So the closest access or road is maybe 100 yards. So there's going to be a little walk to go through that, and that's where National Park Service would come in and analyze and suggest how that can be, how the walkthrough would go through. So maybe within the next, I don't know, just guessing here, 12 months, where we can launch a good program. But JRM's on board with it, National Park Service is on board with it, and we're really pushing that for our people to have a good access plan.
Were you able to get visit the site after you?
Yes, I have. And that's why the idea came about, because it's something that, those who are really interested should have an opportunity to go visit. I mean, it's just an amazing site. And every Chamorro and everybody who loves Guam should have an opportunity to go visit.
Mm-hmm. How, I guess, because I've only been to Fenna just one time, I think, and that was for the memorial service there.
Yeah, obviously because of what they store there, there is a security issue, right? So that is all being worked out as well. So, at least we have, we have an agreement that it's something that should be done. Maybe it's going to be it's not going to be 8 to 5, Monday to Friday type of access. It will probably be just a certain time of the month or what have you. But we'll figure all that out and make it a good plan for the public.
Mm-hmm. Since you have seen it, can you kind of describe what it looks like, or do you have pictures?
Yeah, I have pictures somewhere. I can send that to you later. Mm-hmm. But it's really neat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like how many Laddie stones?
This one particularly, I think it's a 8-tiered Laddie set of a home. So that's unique in itself. And there's still a lot of Laddie sets untouched in Naval Magazine, but this one particular one is probably the easiest accessible to the public, where they don't have to go in the jungle and go deep into the valleys.
Pat, did you feel maybe like a sense of awe, maybe reverence, respect when you went to the site? Because when you talk about touring,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, just you talking about it right now, I can feel it in my bones. It's something definitely those who have the tomorrow spirit in them will feel it automatically when you get there, and that's why I'm really pushing for this program to get off the ground and succeed.
When we look at the construction that's going on and the burials, I mean, at the end of the day, do you feel like I don't want to make it as simple as like win-loss, right? But it just kind of seems like a done deal and just something that,
Yeah, unfortunately, that's where we're at, when the decisions were made, a decade or so ago. Could we have done better? I mean, in retrospect, we can always say, we could have done better. But right now, it's we're here now, and we're trying to do what's little left to take care of that. And I would have to say that the folks there have been working with us on what we feel is right. So those decisions that were made 10, 15 years ago, we can always go back and woulda, coulda, shoulda, but we got to learn from that, right? 2 months, another area of great significance that we didn't do a good job from a historical preservation standpoint.
It's got to be a hard deal for you, though. I mean,
yeah. It is, because we're, you want to keep that going in our culture and in our island, and when it's the landscape just changes drastically, you're never going to have that back, right? And it's higher than my role. It's it goes back to how our governance is set up, and really the limited powers that we have, right, as a people and sovereign people, right? So that opens a whole can of worms again. But strictly looking at what we're here for with our cultural resources, we're doing the best we can.
Did you see? Was that a release from the governor, or was that from DOD JRM? They won an award or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was something like they had won an award for how well they're taking care of the cultural sites. Bree's gonna pop
I
this
saw
up.
it somewhere.
Did you know what I'm talking about, Pat?
No, I don't. Yeah. Was it Camblas? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I want to say it was. Yeah.
I don't
Sorry,
remember
Bree.
where it was. I know that something was sent.
Yeah.
On it.
How about those Niners, bro?
Just had to, huh?
We're just filling time right now.
Yeah, we're hurting, man. We're hurting.
What, too soon?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, just wanted to let the public know what's going on. And if they have any questions or concerns, you can call me up 475-6337 for more details, and I can provide as much information as I can to them.
Thanks, Pat. I guess we'll shoot you a message. Hey, but could you send those pictures?
For the Lattice,
Feta,
yeah.
Find them. It's
Right
somewhere.
I've heard about that one.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, guys. I'm really excited about that one. I just wasn't ready to release it publicly yet until we have more progress. But we really had a good launching meeting last month with all the parties, and I think this is a huge win for everybody. So like you guys just mentioned, the difficulty to go in. It's hard, and we're going to try and simplify that process and really give a good sense and feel for what our ancestors, how they lived through their laddie sets.
I mean, every time I hear someone talk about that set that you're talking about, the way they discuss it, it's like they're so just fugued out. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you just saying that again just made me feel that.
Right on.
So.
Okay, Pat. Take it easy.
Thanks,
All
Pat.
right, guys. Take
All
care.
right. Take
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every time we drive by that site, the locals are going to talk. They're going to say, "Hey, it was built on a graveyard." I mean, how many? You think about like areas where people say that. Usually, it's like you're talking about something that happened many, many years ago. This is happening right now.
Have you been to Fenna?
I have not been to that site, but
I mean, just
yeah, I went for that. They had a memorial for
Yeah, Fenna Massacre.
Fenna Massacre. So
the caves.
right, but I did try and get the tour, and I was told they weren't doing it. So when we went into the Fenna Massacre Memorial, I remember because I knew about this site, I was just on that bus and I was just like looking everywhere. But you can't take; they don't let you take pictures or video.
But it's beautiful.
Right. Yeah.